Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, on the blogger site as an archive post thingy there, and on Patreon also everything is posted for extra support. And any kind of updates I usually go about on Twitter X platform, usually on the live stream front there. Yeah, yesterday I did some streaming and for whatever reason still didn't get it. Windows encountered an error and shut down my computer, and so the stream was interrupted a little bit earlier, but then I managed to, I don't know, in 5 minutes just resolve the issue, stream again, and wrap up what I wanted to do on the stream there. It was more about half an hour, give or take. I was doing Lake of Rot in Ansel River. I will not mention more so you don't get spoiled. Yeah, overall it was a good stream. We managed to advance a little bit more on the game itself. Still have to go to Altos Plateau. I think it's the next thing after I wrap up what I'm doing there. Still in the areas of Lake of Rot. I don't know what's going to happen certainly, but yeah, very good stream there. Again, and today we are going to get Star Wars Jedi Survivor again. Sorry about that. Yeah, the game so far, comparatively with Jedi Fallen Order, a lot of improvements there. Some of the on the gameplay front also, but also graphically, it's a huge upgrade there. In terms of distance details there on the environment and the such, bigger areas, at least what I've been the episodes I've been recording seems to have a lot of bigger areas. Again, I don't know if this is going to reflect also in the in terms of planet quantities, because on the first one I think we got to explore parts of 5 planets overall, if not mistaken. Let's say I'm not sure about Jedi Survivor, but it by the introductory areas that we are getting, it seems to be a little bit bigger regarding Jedi Fallen Order, and again, it's an improvement in almost everything that I've been seeing regarding, at least comparatively to Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor seems a little bit improvement on in terms of the quality overall. Again, I'm just starting on the story, so I cannot comment that on the story front, even though we know that it's 5 years after Jedi Fallen Order. Everybody is missing. Basically, we start the game with a kind of a new crew, but most of them died. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the search for Grease, the little pilot from the previous game. But yeah. And also tomorrow we're going to get another Mutiny Zero Road to Eden episode, and yeah, then we'll see. After I finish up Mutiny Zero, I will go up and start doing some Dead Space remake. I think that's the game that I want to go. Then after that, probably an older game. So I want to interchange between new games or newer games and older games that I didn't play. And again, I'm still catching up with all the as you can see here, it's still here, the channel update. I don't know when I'm going to do the next one, but yeah, catching up with now going for 6 years. Yeah, it's a lot of games, so to catch up, especially older games that I wanted to play and I missed the opportunity there. And yeah, regarding VODs, I will try to get Saturday stream up today. I think it's okay to I think YouTube already did all the thingy that it has to do in terms of processing the footage there. Probably later, after Jedi Survivor comes up, later in the night, I will do the publishing of that VOD. What else? Again, streaming. I cannot commit with a proper schedule, mainly because of the freelancer workload. Depends. I cannot commit because it depends. Sometimes even at night I got stuff to do. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Just follow me on Twitter, and I'll give. So when I go live, I usually tweet it out, both on YouTube and on Rumble. I stream on both places at the same time. Okay, regarding news, similarly, 7600X is dropping prices to around 180. This is a lower price since it came out, basically. Um, yeah, it's here, around here. It started off $300, which is a lot of dollars for the low-end CPU there. But yeah, but the fact that they already launched 8000 series, that now starting to hear the rumblings of the 9000 Zen4 CPUs coming out probably around the end of the year. Also the fact that this is still, as an entry point, it's still pretty good. It's still better than the 80, what they say here, 8500G APU, the Hawk Point APU thing there. If you want to have a decent CPU for gaming, again, the only thing that it's less than my CPU, which is the 7700X. It has less core, but for gaming it's excellent. Even if you pair with the lower end GPUs and play 1080p, it can handle pretty well the gaming pressure there. The only thing better than the one that I have at this moment in time, basically, in terms of price to performance, is the 7800X 3D, but it's something that I'm not going to delve in for myself. But yeah, at this moment in time, I'm pretty satisfied, mainly because I also play on 4K, so again, it's not a true statement by itself, but usually 4K workloads in terms of gaming don't have that much stress on the CPU. You tend to get more GPU bottlenecked than CPU, even though in certain cases, we got, for example, one very highlighted cases, which is Dragon Dogma 2. Even like the highest things there, when you enter in certain areas that you have high demand in terms of CPU workloads, you can get stifled by that, even playing 4K, trying to get the bottleneck out of the CPU. Again, it's a matter of optimization. Usually this has to do with AI and the fact that they are not taking advantage of the multi-core and multi-threads that these new CPUs have. At least that's my perception in terms of optimization. But yeah, 7600X as an entry point on the AM5 platform, which seems to be in par of getting around at least 5 years in terms of support. I think it's a good entry point. You can just pair it with a pretty decent motherboard for AM5. It will last you probably almost the 5 to 6 years that AM5 platform will stick around, because even the new CPUs, they are I think in terms of TDPs, they are in line to a certain degree what we already have in terms of the lineups. They will try to maintain that TDP kind of a thing there and just improve in terms of performance. At least that's what I remember from the leaks that we saw from certain Zen4 CPUs. I think they are around the 65 TDPs and the 105 or 110 kind of a thing there, maximum 120. And it even can handle 170 watts. This if you get a decent board. So I think if you just pair it with a pretty decent motherboard, which is basically the main, the framework that you're going to work around CPUs and even memory stuff. I think a 7600X is a good deal here as an entry game point, even if you want to upgrade from older platforms there. Continue with the AMD, they are lowered again, the 7800 XT, supposedly now it's below the $500. The MSRP, I think it was $550, not sure. Again, my memory is not that good for this kind of things, but I think, yeah, I think it was around $550, the MSRP when it launched. And it's been in this price point like one or two times ago, but not for long. Again, this is way better than the 7700X, even though the 7700X at this moment in time is around 420. The fact that you have a little bit more memory in terms of VRAM, and the fact that it's full Navi 32 chip there, I think it's a better investment, and it's better than the 500 4060 Ti, 16 gigabytes even. I think it's the one that it's around $500, give or take. Yeah, NVIDIA is too expensive. What do you want to do? I think it's too expensive. Even taking advantage of the DLSS stuff and the ray tracing stuff, I think it's too for this kind of price. It's yeah. I think the AMD counterparts are offering a lot of more bang for buck in this middle range here. In the lower range, you got now Intel that, depending on the price, they can be very competitive there. But yeah, the versions of the 7800 XT that are available is the ASRock's Challenger, both on Newegg and Amazon. You can get them with the extra $10 and the things with the coupon stuff there. Again, I think this Challenger is not the top tier in terms of AIBs from ASRock's. I think it doesn't even have factory overclocking. But then again, you're not going to get around too much in terms of overclocking in this middle range thing. I think, and I'm not sure, even with the Phantom Gaming or Steel Legend or whatever it is, so the higher end triple design fan. But yeah, even when I overclock my XTX, it usually doesn't give like huge boosts in terms of performance, at least that I can notice. But yeah, it is what it is. They launched the things, they say that they offer a little bit overclocking, but it's not that much. It's always on the line, and the fact that the software itself doesn't let you go crazy on it, which is to a certain degree a good thing. But yeah, for 80, I would like to see it at least 450 or a little bit lower, so the 7700X can go around the 300 and something kind of a margin there. I think it will be a better price, and it will sell better than the NVIDIA counterparts of the price bracket where they are positioned there. We got some interesting things regarding RGB stuff. Again, I was never a huge fan of RGB. Even when I'm trying to get around the case, it's pretty difficult to find a case without a glass side panel, which is annoying for me because I don't need to see the interiors of my components. I just know what is in there, and as long as it works, I don't care about showing off something. At this moment in time, my second support monitor is basically covering that because of how it is set up. So I don't even have a look there, and I managed to, when I installed everything, I just plugged off everything in terms of RGB except for the CPU cooler. I forgot. So, and it's been a while since I opened the case to clean. So, but yeah, even the DDRs, the Lexar stuff, I use the software to turn off the RGB, and there is only on the the GPU stuff. It says only has the SFX. I turned everything off there. It's not something that fancies me. It's a little bit distracting, especially if you have the window turned to your face. It can be very distracting if you're just focusing on the monitor. But yeah, here it seems that some RGBs, again, RGB, they can emit to a certain degree certain UV light within a spectrum. Again, depending on the quality of the RGBs, depending on the if you put that very oh my god, what I want to say, the luminosity, if it is too high or too low, it can start affect the how it can or cannot emit UV lights. And usually when you don't have like a huge high quality or anti-UV kind of coating on your GPUs, especially here, because this relates to a lot of the DDR UV light stuff there, it starts burning your paint, and I'm not sure, given that UV light can have serious damage on the metal itself, but at least the paint is completely burned out, as you can see on the images. You can see that is coming from the DDR stuff, the memory modules there. I think this specific case is from 1080, around 5 years of just catching that light from the RGB. It's not good. I'm not sure how we can influence in terms of heat, because some RGB lights can eat pretty much or can eat a lot, and I don't know if by any kind of extent you might have some PCB issues throughout time. In this case, I don't know if it can affect memory stuff there on the GPU there. If it hits the backplate too much, I don't know. But you have the insulator, usually you got some pads here and there, thermal pads, I don't know. But yeah, it's not good news. At least aesthetically, it's not pretty good. It's you just see some burn marks. But yeah, I'm not sure how far this problem is in overall usage. I don't know if people are getting a lot of this issue, but from okay, no, got ASUS and MSI GPUs. Yeah, I don't know if it is brand stuff, but I think it's mainly of how the coating is not anti UV light stuff. But yeah, my main concern here is not even the fact that the paint coating is burned off. It's more about the heat that some RGB lights can send there, because we saw some issues with some RGB stuff regarding storage. I think I don't remember the brand. They got the I think it was a 2.5-inch SSD that had some RGB, and that thing just overheated the SSD to the point that it throttled in terms of performance. NVMe's coolers with some RGB, I think, also did some weird stuff there, but I'm not sure. It's been a while since I got to see anything of that. But yeah, my overall recommendation, at least from my part, being that RGB is an aesthetic thing, I usually turn off for myself, just because it's too much light for my taste coming out of the case there. So yeah. Pay attention to that, and if you have RGB DDR, especially because the way they are positioned so close to the GPU slot, just make sure that the light itself is not that hot, or might affect the even if you have yeah, metal black plate. If metal black plate, I'm not sure how it can influence if it is going directly on the plastic, if you have a plastic backplate, or if it is directly eliminating the PCB on the GPU there. Yeah, something to think about. And yeah, and lastly, we got Intel, the upscaler XeSS, the 1.3 version supposedly came out and is at least at the same level in terms of quality with DLSS 3.7 or whatever it is. There will be some testing around here. In this case, they were using an RTX 3070, which is an older GPU, which is, I think they are good for these kind of things, because they get ramped up to the max there. You're trying to use these kind of things. I think it's the best use case scenarios there. And yeah, the Intel now is on par with DLSS, again 3.7, and again it's better than FSR. Again, the FSR that they used as a comparison, I think it's still 2.2, because the 3.1 still didn't officially came out. Yeah, FSR 2.2, if not mistaken, at least from the screenshots. Yeah, the DLSS is 3.7, it's the latest one, but FSR is still 2.2. I think AMD, I covered this, I think in a couple of weeks or a couple of months maximum, they will launch the 3.1, which has the fake frames separated from the FSR thing there. It can be activated differently or independently. But yeah, it's good to see at least some competition regarding DLSS technology, so they can everybody can start to compete within at least these three brands regarding quality of this kind of technologies. Again, upscaling is pretty good in cases that older GPUs that can take advantage of this technology. And even the fake frame rates, if you have at least the general consensus, if you have at least as a baseline 60 frames per second that you can achieve with your GPU, the minimum should be around that target frame rate, around 60, mainly because of the lag itself. Because if you can with fake frames, if you have like low frame rates, which by extent induces more lag on the system itself, if you ramp up the fake frame rates. Usually there is also an introduction of the lag itself, even though there are technologies within the fake frame generation stuff to reduce that lag system. You might see more clarity and more motion, let's say. You see more frames, but usually when you play it feels less frames that you are seeing there. It might be a little bit, if you are very sensitive to that, can be very very weird when you play the games there. But yeah, it's good to see that at least Intel is ramping up the game. We had just hoped that the FSR 3.1 or whatever they are calling, the next one that will come, it will be at least on par with the other two. And lastly, we don't have a lot of gaming news. Again, a lot of gaming news that I've been seeing a lot on especially on YouTube. It's the Gamergate stuff there. Again, the fact that you the fact that you have the Department of State, I think, or I don't even know which kind of department, for example, in the United States, funding this kind of consultancy firms on DEI, it's not good news. It's something that they want to impose to you, give or take, and it's not good. And the fact that you have from, even I saw recently, like Kotaku, you got Polygon, to a certain degree you got IGN there, and all of these kind of big companies or mainstream media game kind of journalists or so-called journalist guys trying to make this to a certain degree something that it isn't, because they just need the clicks to get some advertisement money regarding the advertisement that they have on site there. It's not working very well for them. People tend to forget that these people that are, first of all, when you have a product to sell, if you're just shitting on the customer for sure will not buy your product. That's regardless of the market that you are, given if it is a car dealership or a car manufacturer, can be whatever you want it to be. If you just reach to the marketplace where you can buy the product and you get shit on because of the way you are, given at this moment in time it's the I don't know, you're a white male. Seems to be the problem on the world on these days, seemingly, regarding the point of view of these people. If you reach, for example, on a showroom to buy a car and you're just getting shit on because of the way you look, and there is an automatic response that you are a phobo or a ist or whatever they want to, people will turn around and don't buy your product. And to a certain extent, the people that are complaining, these activist people, are the ones that don't buy the games. But at the end of the day, in terms of the majority on the power of purse here, these people that are all complaining, these activists, they don't buy stuff. They want stuff for free. And companies need to make money. And to make money, they have to sell. And to sell, somebody has to buy the games, in this case, of gaming. And yeah, in the short term, it's annoying. You're going to get some products, some games in this case, that are not good. Because they tend to lean on certain aspects of the activism of itself, so they don't take priority, for example, of telling a good story, focusing on gameplay systems, having a good experience for the player that is buying the product, and you're just putting people on a foot behind, and to be more cautious, which is something that I always recommend. People will start not pre-ordering games. They will keep their eyes open more on, for example, community management managers on the developers, or even from the publisher side of things, to see what kind of message they are passing through the community itself, which is something I don't know why you put activists on community management to shit on players they are paying to play the game. But yeah, in overall scheme of things, you got some shining lights. and the case here is the Baldur's Gate 3 developer. So far, I don't have any complaints. They are hitting the mark every time they speak about the gaming industry and the state of gaming and what they want to achieve with the games they want to make, and how they approach in terms of philosophy on how to deal with the gamers itself. We saw this from even from Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, and how Baldur's Gate 3 got made in terms of taking back the feedback from the players from through the process of early access. And yeah, this new title from Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian, it's not Baldur's Gate 3 developer, from Larian Studios. It's going to take the same approach they'll be taking from the last 3 games that they launched, which is early access. Again, we don't have any kind of release window on when the next project will come out. Again, they just it's not even been a year since Baldur's Gate 3 came out, like the full version of the game. So we have to wait a little bit, but at least the signs that are passing through us are pretty good, which is when they have enough to provide us content and the game systems and the story for an early access, they will give us an early access. They will start accepting, of course, feedback from the community that is playing and bought the early access version of the game. They will start accepting and taking that into account and making it into the game itself. That's why it's one of the reasons that Baldur's Gate 3 is a huge hit and a huge success. Not only because they know how to make games, but they took their approach on how they want to go about the game, and they saw they had enough here that could be tweaked here and there, and so they took, instead of doing a closed beta testing, they just throw it out to the community there, and they were asking some opinions of what they can improve, what can be more suitable for example, replayability. If there is any changes that we can make that will suit the needs of the people that are buying the game. And it's one of the reasons that's why it was a huge success. It's not because there was somebody telling that you need EIs and ESGs, that even in the long term, in terms of corporate speak there, the only thing that is going to do is just sync your projects in the long term. It can be something in short term for the quarterly earning stuff there. It might look good on the spreadsheet, but in the long term, you're just destroying your own IPs if you're going about this kind of activist way, and you just making people that buy the games not buy your own games, because they will start associating your activism to your own brands. And one of the big things, it's the same way that people associate that the recycled Assassin's Creed and the recycled Far Cry systems, they associate, of course, because they are Ubisoft IPs, they just associate that the next, when they start launching now the next Assassin's Creed and the next Far Cry, people are going to be very reticent and just do the pre-orders or buy when it launches. They will wait to see how the game looks. They will wait for independent reviewers to get their hands on the games and wait for their reviews. And it's something that I always advise people to do, is to just wait for the game to launch, follow up at least a handful of independent reviewers. Again, you can also check the mainstream things. Usually I always, as a reference point, check IGN and GameSpot, and then I go to Metacritic and see how the trend is going. But I always follow and check the reviews from a handful of creators that review games that are to my taste. And I just wait to see how it goes. And you give it at least around 1 month or so to see if it is, in terms of performance optimization, everything is good, and then you see the reaction of the developers. See, okay, we noticed you have some issues, going to launch some patches. You in between that first couple of months, you see how they react to the launch of their own games, and then you might throw your own power of the purse on the project itself. At least that's I usually advise people to go about things, so you don't get buyer's remorse there. The only thing that I did in the last since I buy games, which has been 20 odd years, it's the Shadow of the Tree. It's the only thing that I just pre-ordered when it was announced. The rest, I always wait for the game to launch, see how it goes. If it is in a good state, I just wait until it is, and then if it is a good game, I buy it. I buy it when I want to play the game as it is. I don't like leaving backlogs of stuff that I probably then I will never play. But yeah, that's my philosophy of approaching things. When I see a product, I wait for reviews. I try to follow at least a handful of people that I trust in their perspectives on how they review stuff. And this can be applied to anything in life. When you searching for stuff, the same thing that it's the same thing that I did before I set up my PC. I went about it, researched it, see what kind of in terms of price to performance of all the components that I wanted to buy, and then I continue to follow up on the review stuff, if the prices drop, if don't drop, and then I took the steps to make the investment that I did. But yeah, Baldur's Larian Studios, again, not Baldur's Gate 3 developer. It's Larian Studios. Their name is important because they are at this moment in time, they are shining light into how developers and publishers, because they are self-publishing all their games, how they handle and approach the gamers, which are the clients that will pay for their product when it comes out. I think they have a good approach there. Again, I talked about what they go about this, but then again, yeah. I think that they are in a good path here. Everybody now is looking forward to what they are going to do next. And I'm going to wrap up this thing with some gaming deals. Again, we still have the Outer Worlds Pacer's Choice Edition for free until the April 11th. And also 5th, this is the last game that came out from the franchise. Again, the reviews were not that good, but again, it's for free. At least you can try it out for free and see if it is something worth it. I might try this game someday. But yeah, these two games are free at this moment in time. On Steam, we got Lies of Pi 30% off. We got Dredge 30% off also. This is the deluxe edition, the version that is on a deal, not the base game, so pay attention there. We got Dome Keeper 50% off. I think this might be a good one if you like kind of this kind of mini tower defense kind of games there. I think they are pretty good. We got also Guardians of the Galaxy 75% off. Yeah, if you didn't catch this one for free on Epic Game Store, again, this usually it's the price that is at, and from what I've been seeing, it's a very underrated game when it came out. The gameplay seems pretty good, the story seems pretty good. I think they are more focused on the characters in terms of the comic books and not in the movies. Even the designs, as you can see on the trailer, it's not exactly the same as the movies there. We got also the Plague Tale thing, duology on sale. Again, it's not the bundle that it's on sale. It's just the individual games. So yeah, you might complete your collection here. The first one is 80% and the second one is 60% off. On GOG, we got battletech. Again, turn-based battle things here, and we got several extra things here, but this is the mercenary collection, which got basically everything, if not mistaken, the season pass and the such, at least it seems so. Yeah, you got the season pass here, which gets all the extra content there. We got Cult of the Lamb 35% off. Again, this seems to be a pretty good game, but again, I never played this game, but it's one of those that always is on the back of my head as to try it out one of these days and make probably a gameplay series on it. And you got Deus Ex, the two games, so Human Revolution Director's Cut 85% off and 85% off also on Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This is the digital deluxe edition, which is the same version that I have on Steam. Again, they seem pretty good even after all these years, and again, they're very cheap. Again, I don't know when I'm going to do. I want to do a gameplay, at least on this one. yeah, it's one of those that I'm want to play out and see what this is all about. And yeah, sorry about the rant in the middle of the video, but yeah, it's one of those things. I'm going to wrap up here with the plug on my Patreon. Yeah, the extra support here at this moment in time is more in line for me to be able to get around getting more storage, for me to be able to get backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. Yeah, I think, yeah, basically this is it, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.